Hey everybody, welcome to my morning live stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late. My name is Bob Umar. It's the Power Connection channel, and I'm here doing my daily LinkedIn Live from Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. I'm very excited to have you all here, and today the topic is actually quite relevant to something that happened yesterday, so I'm going to get into that. But while people are showing up, feel free to, let me know, comment below where you're from. Let me know what brings you here. What are some questions or topics you want to get into? My focus is all quite vast around leadership, entrepreneurship, career development, personal branding, and public speaking and things like that. So let me know, and within a little bit, I'll get into the story of kind of what happened today, or sorry, what happened yesterday that has to deal with the actual topic for today. So glad to have you all here, and so let's get right into it, which is the issue that it's all about trolls. So what I want to talk about today, and sorry, I'm just setting up the LinkedIn camera here on the second thing so I can see your comments and things. There we go. Yes, there you go. See, Vinny's already said I'm late. Sorry. I had a bit busy morning this morning, so that's why. No worries. Appreciate that. Sometimes life happens. So let's talk about trolls. So yesterday I did a LinkedIn Live. Hey, Lori, and someone said in a comment, lose weight. Now, why would someone do that? I mean, that type of comment is inappropriate, it's unprofessional, and it's really like a troll-like comment. And so, these things happen all the time. And the truth is, I've dealt with a lot of trolls and people who make such comments, mostly where I first started on Twitter, because on Twitter I started to get a lot of traction. On Twitter I have like 450,000 followers, but when I started to get 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers, I started getting a lot of troll-like comments to things that I was dealing with. And the question always comes up, how do you deal with trolls? And the other thing, too, to keep in mind is that, when I say debunking myths, a lot of people have certain myths about trolls and also in terms of how to deal with them. And, the truth is, I mean, most people generally say with trolls, just ignore them. And I think that works 80 to 90, 95% of the time, but it doesn't always work. So it's important for you to understand exactly how trolls work and who they all are. Hey, Christopher, hey, a lot of people coming in, that's great. That's and so the troll, my reaction to that was, okay, I'm curious why, and I commented back, I said, curious why you would say that on a professional platform. It seems inappropriate. I would, and the truth is, I would never comment negatively on someone's appearance ever, unless they actually ask me for specific feedback on how do I look, like if my wife or my kids did that, or one of my good friends. And otherwise, I would never actually volunteer negative information about someone's appearance. I don't think it's an appropriate way to go. It's certainly on LinkedIn. It's not professional. Now, let's first get into understanding these trolls. So one of the things that we have to understand is that most trolls are basically projecting their own pain, projecting their own hurt. They've been damaged, or something's happened to them, or they have a lot of anger, and so they start doing these things. There are some trolls who will say things like that, like lose weight or you suck or whatever it might be. I mean, going to your personal appearance is probably one of the lowest forms. Name calling is also another one like that, and it's I mean, Ravi mentions he gained weight. Listen, I know I'm overweight. I get that. I'm trying really hard to lose weight. Sometimes my weight goes up, sometimes the weight goes down. But I can tell you that the weight journey is something that I have to deal with in my own head. And so, seriously, I got no time for trolls who are going to comment on my weight. And they're people I don't know. Like when my mom does, or if my kids do, then I kind of notice it a little bit. But again, at the same time, if it's unsolicited, it's probably not the best way to comment on stuff. So I'm aware of my weight and my challenges with health and things like that. So it's important to get into the why these people are the way they are. So some people project their pain. Some people don't know what they're doing in terms of they honestly treat you like their family, but they don't realize how rude they're being. But at the end of the day, how you respond to that troll-like comment is going to set you apart versus set them apart, right? So you have to understand how that works. Now, the general idea is that, let me just ignore the troll, and I think for the most part that's a pretty good way to go. And it covers most situations, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes if you have the time to respond or you want to respond, you totally can. It's good to have your support network respond to trolls too. Like when people in my network, if like when the thing happened on the LinkedIn Live yesterday, if several of my other people on this call, on this live stream, had actually commented, that would have been good, because then it's easier for them to call them out than for me to call them out. Although I still will do it anyways, but it's better if they do too. Now, if you have you ever dealt with a troll or dealt with there's no responsibility on you guys to stand up. I'm totally fine. I'm just saying it's something that you can see it. If you see it, by all means, you may want to say something or not. But again, we're going to talk about how to deal with it. So. Let me give you my kind of take on how I deal with trolls. And this is something I've learned on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. And I'll start with the first myth, which is that there's this myth that people say, why are you trolling on LinkedIn? This isn't Facebook. This isn't Twitter. See, that's a myth. Okay. The truth is, wherever you go and people interact and engage in any sort of matter, personal, professional, there will be trolls. So don't say, well, Twitter's a place for trolls. No, Twitter certainly has a troll problem, but there shouldn't be trolls anywhere. But the truth is, there will be trolls everywhere. They first started out in comment sections on websites, and now they're on all the social media platforms. I've had experience them everywhere. So the first myth is that trolls are everywhere, and there's no such thing as a place for trolls when it comes to one platform or the other. Okay. The LinkedIn trolls are now rising. That is absolutely true. Why? Because they are now encouraging more engagement, such as LinkedIn Lives, with people on the platform. People on the platform are spending more time on LinkedIn, so therefore there's going to be more trolls and more people out there who want to say stuff and get under your skin and things like that. So let's just let's debunk that. There will be trolls on LinkedIn, and they will be increasing the more we engage on LinkedIn. That's a fact. So let's debunk the myth that they shouldn't be here or they won't be here. They are. Okay. Now, how do I deal with trolls? Well, generally speaking, it's broken down in a few parts. I've done a couple of videos on this, but let's start with the first thing. Number one is empathy. So the first thing is to understand why trolls do things the way they are. So, and if you have empathy and you can understand where they're coming from, it'll actually affect you less and hurt you less. So the truth is, and hello, Nihal from Dubai. Hello, Chris. This is great. So the first thing about trolls to understand is that every single troll that says something mean or negative or inappropriate, unprofessional, whatever it might be, however hateful it might be, however troll-like it might be, they are humans, and who are projecting their own pain, their own damage. There's an expression that says hurt people, and so most trolls are like that. They're going through some sort of pain, whether it's current pain or even pain from 30 years ago in their childhood that they're now projecting. Someone on LinkedIn several months ago complained about my beard and called me some sort of lazy bum. Okay, fine. What's his issue with beards? I have no idea. But the truth is, they are projecting some sort of pain. And if you can understand that, then the trolls shouldn't affect you as much. Still mentions killing with kindness. That certainly works. But again, some trolls are very they keep going at you. I usually kill them with kind professionalism. Is what I usually do. So number one, start with empathy. Hey, Melissa from Netherlands. So I start with empathy, understanding the trolls and how they are, how they're feeling, and then by knowing that, it doesn't bother me so much. That's the first thing. The second thing you do is you then assess the severity of the troll, right? So the one who said, you look fat or you lose some weight, that's not really that big a deal. So it's not that important to deal with it. Some troll-like things are very severe. They go into this long tirade about you or about your business or about your country or about whatever, your friends. I mean, they go in these long tirades. Some are very, very severe. Like they say, it's really, really harsh, truly disgusting, hateful, hurtful things, right? So you have to assess the severity. That's the second thing, because some are more than others, some are worse than others. Then the third thing you do is then you determine, okay, based on that, what is my approach going to be? So what is my approach going to be? And so, and your approach is going to be one of several things. The first thing is ignore. So, the one with the, lose weight, that's one that I could easily ignore. I mean, I didn't, but I mean, you could ignore. Number two, you could block right away. Block it, delete it, that type of stuff. So block, delete, it's severe, it's harsh, it shouldn't be here. Block, delete, there you go. And that's the second thing you do. Then the third thing you do is respond. And now you have to respond. There's two ways you could respond. One would be the way that is very common, which is you end up getting into this back and forth, which is like a vacuum suck of negativity. And trust me, I've been there. I've been there on LinkedIn. I've been there on Twitter. It happens. And that's okay. Like, if you want to spend 10 minutes going at it, sometimes it's actually a bit of a release, and that's fine. Like, you can totally do that. And the second way is to respond with professional kindness. And usually what I do is I have one standard statement. Something like, I'm happy to respond. I'm happy to respond to value-added comments, but that comment above is inappropriate, unprofessional with this platform. If you want to engage, you can delete that comment and engage in another comment to ask a more pertinent question or share a more pertinent comment, something like that. I mean, I didn't actually say it the way I said it, but something like that. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking a stand for calling out that comment, but also taking a stand for how I want to engage and who I want to deal with. And then I tell them, it's up to you to choose wisely how you want to deal with this. And as soon as they read that, they can then decide whether they want to continue with the vitriol. And I also tell them too, and if you cannot or are unwilling to adhere to my guidelines on my post, then you will be blocked or deleted. That's what I say. I will politely show you the door. That's a quote from my friend Dave Howlett. So I will politely show you the door. It's a great tactic. And kindness, yeah, always be polite, always be kind, always be professional, and talk about on LinkedIn, talk about professionalism and appropriateness, right? On other platforms, you might talk about just appropriateness or engaging in a genuine manner in a way that brings value to the conversation, in a way that doesn't demean people, put people down, doesn't name call, no personal attacks, things like that. And it's very interesting. People. It's funny because trolls get out there, especially on LinkedIn, and they'll say stuff and they don't realize how much it's hurting their brand. Yet they don't seem to know or care. Again, part of it's their damage that hurts them to do that, but that's typically what happens. And again, if you're enjoying this conversation or you have stuff you want to share, comment below in terms of what you've dealt with, how you've dealt with trolls, maybe share a personal experience, share some questions about what you want to do. If you like this video, share it on your page, tag some people, bring them part of the conversation. I'm doing these LinkedIn Lives every day, Monday to Friday, around 8:30 a.m. I'm excited to do one tomorrow. It's going to be my first interview with Michel Falcon, and also we'll do an interview with him live, which is kind of exciting. And I'm planning to do more interviews with people in Toronto. So if you know people that are in Toronto that want to be interviewed, I'm your guy. Send them to me, and we'll meet up and we'll do LinkedIn Lives with people. All right. So I appreciate your engagement. I appreciate your sharing stuff. So going back to how I deal with trolls. Number one, empathy trolling is bullying. I totally agree. And you're right, Vinny, not every troll is worth your time. That's why I said 80 to 90% of them you should just ignore, right? So number one, use empathy to understand the troll and how they behave. Number two, assess the severity of the troll. So, how bad is a comment? Is it a comment that hurts other people? Is it a comment that is in great detail and says things that are quite relevant but untrue about you? Like maybe they say, well, I went to this thing, I went to this event run by your company that did this, and it's totally made up. That might be something you have to deal with. You can't just ignore it. There are a lot, there's a lot of, commentary on how to deal with trolls, particularly for big companies and stuff. And, they sometimes have to engage these people and versus, delete them and stuff. So what is the severity of the troll? Number three, then, choose your response. So again, in most cases, ignore. In other cases, it's going to be block or delete. In other cases, respond with one categorical statement calling for professionalism, or one categorical statement calling out the untruth or defending the situation, and then asking for professional behavior. And then the fourth version, of course, is to get sucked into it. And sometimes you might find it cathartic and enjoyable for a little bit. But again, always be polite and professional. And then step four, which I didn't say, can't do this. Step four, that's four fingers. Yeah. Step four is to forgive yourself, because you need to, process your own emotions, because sometimes those comments, it doesn't matter whether you're a robot, they're still going to hurt a little bit. So it's important for you to process that, talk to people. When I got the comment yesterday, which is again a very light comment, but I post on Facebook with my friends that, hey, someone just called me to lose weight on LinkedIn. Go figure. And people are very supportive of their comments, which is very lovely, and I appreciate that. But it helps me to process, to talk about it and let people know what's going on and things like that. So you have to forgive yourself for engaging a troll, or forgive yourself for feeling hurt about it, forgive yourself for any sort of thing that you might be feeling bad about your reaction or response. And I think that's important to deal with it. Now, a lot of people, and again, a lot of people are saying in the comments, right? Ignore the troll, ignore the troll. Again, I think there are specific cases where you shouldn't. And so I'll give you some examples. Okay, if they go into great detail into talking about your business or your brand specifically in a way that's relevant, that people might recognize, oh yeah, I remember seeing Bobby at this thing or whatever, and then you may have to respond and just defend yourself just once, right? And then say, listen, like, you're saying things in a very inappropriate, unprofessional way, but I want to comment on that one thing you mentioned. Certainly, no, it's not true that I ate that frog on stage. Like whatever, I'm making this up. I didn't eat that frog on stage. There's video of this. I can certainly show you to you. Another example that I might get into is if they actually attack somebody else. So if they attack somebody that's in my own network, I will actually probably defend them and say, you know what? No, Billy is one of the best people I know, of great integrity, and I will defend that person. And again, going back to if you cannot engage with more professional, appropriate conduct here, then you'll be blocked and deleted. So I'll leave it to you. The ball's in your court. Otherwise, I'm going to politely show you the door. So those are two main examples where I probably would respond. I still respond. There's a third reason that I respond that I will share with you. I respond because I'm all about responding with kindness and empathy and professionalism and politeness and appropriateness. I will actually respond for practice. So especially on Twitter, I'm practicing empathy. I'm actually exercising my heart muscle. So I'm trying to exercise my heart muscle to be better at dealing with trolls. And so I'll respond to exercise that. And no matter how hurtful the comment is, I'll respond in kind. And so, that's something that you'll keep in mind. Now, going back to the, let's do myth number 2. If you ignore the troll, they'll go away. Not true. It's kind of like the idea with bullying, right? So, if you ignore the troll, they'll go away. Or ignore the bully, they'll go away. Sometimes it doesn't happen. They'll keep going after you. Sometimes you stand up to a bully, they'll also go after you. So, that's a myth that's going to happen. There's certain trolls out there. And I remember one in particular who just incessantly going after so many people. And, Militsa's got it right. Is trolling is part of your brand. There are certain people I know that are known for being trolls. Yes, Denise, having compassion for yourself, forgive yourself is so important in this whole process. That's why step 4 of dealing with trolls is to forgive yourself, right? And have compassion for yourself. And then, and do that. So what was I saying? Trolls, the myth about trolls. Yeah, so ignoring them. Yeah, some of them are quite, they're boom, they keep going. If they're incessantly bullying you, you need to take action. I have some friends, particularly a lot of women on this platform, who have struggled with trolls, who start sending them messages and start following them on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, whatever, and send them messages. It's crazy. And they, that when that happens, you need to shut that down. You need to take action, report it, call people, try to find ways to deal with that. And I say they can also ask for help from their community, like similar to what someone just said. Having a collective effort to deal with them, that actually works. So having like 4 or 5 people, or even 10, say, listen, you're being inappropriate, boo boo, and going after this person, that shuts them down. And one of the things I'm actually really proud of, there's actually a very well-known troll. I'm not even sure I should say her name. You know what? And here's the other thing: people feel shame about saying their names. No, you should share their names. Otherwise, you give them power. Her name was Lisa. I forget her last name, but I know it is Lisa Roche, Roche. Yeah, she's a huge troll, and tons of my friends have been attacked by her in different ways. And she always tries to spin around into her own kind of take on things. And I'm allowed to say whatever I want, and blah blah blah. But what I did to her is I actually responded to her, and I had to respond like 3 or 4 times, but I kept calling out her inappropriate unprofessionalism. I called out her unfounded assumptions, and I called it how this is looking bad on her brand. And if she really wants to improve her brand, she needs to engage in a better way. And I pointed that out in a very, very respectful, polite way. And I think, for me, I have the brand of a troll buster because she actually deleted her own comments. Because that's what you want. That's the ultimate win. Getting a troll to delete their own comments because they don't want to look as bad, or they're not getting the feeling from it. Well, there are trolls of all kinds. I mean, trolls politics, trolls personal, trolls professional. There's lots of them that it happens all the time, guys. So it's important to understand. So any other questions on trolling? That's kind of my take on dealing with trolls. We talked about the myths of trolling. There's many myths. One is that it shouldn't happen on LinkedIn. Well, it shouldn't happen anywhere. So don't say go to Twitter, go to Facebook. It's here. It's rising. It's going to be there. So you have to understand that. Number two, ignoring a troll is not always going to work. It works most of the time, yes. Sometimes you have to delete or block right away, and other times you're going to have to actually engage. And a lot of brands, particularly company pages, know that they have to engage sometime versus just blocking them. So, every company has their own policy, but I will respond if it's something very, very severe personal attack on my company, my brand, my image, or on a friend of mine that I think should be worth defending. But I always do it just kind of one comment, and that's kind of all I would do. So that's kind of the main way in which we should find. That's another myth to debunk when it comes to trolls. The other thing that another myth I want to debunk about trolls is that trolls are fake profiles. Not true. Many profiles are real and legit. The one I just mentioned earlier, she is a legit person who has all these and is prolific and has a career and things like that. But they're on here because of their anger, because of their hurt, because of their pain. They are here projecting all their stuff. They have an agenda and they just do it. So a lot of them are real people, and there's probably more fake ones on LinkedIn. But on Twitter. But again, because Twitter is growing, because Twitter is getting really, really hot and exciting, and people are part of it, you should expect to see more troll bots on this platform. I absolutely guarantee it, because people are going to be making bots like they have on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and so LinkedIn's going to get them too. So there will be a rise in them, but a lot of hey David, a lot of LinkedIn trolls are legit profiles, and so let's debunk that myth that they're fake profiles. They're not. Most of them are legit, and they are engaging, and they're here for whatever reason they have, and so that's where it gets into it. And the last thing I kind of want to say about trolls is, they're actually, do trolls post their own stuff? Some do, and often it's very negative rants about, well, this person did this, and so I've seen people actually do actual status update posts on a particular person. Now that's very interesting. Now, because it'll be very difficult for you to delete that, because you can't delete comment. You can delete comments from your own thread, but how do you deal with that one? Well, if someone trolls you from their own status update, that's a big challenge. I think it's important to get a community of your friends to help support you and maybe call that out and debunk that expression of what they said. You can also report the post and again get enough of your friends to report it such that it'll be removed. Those are things you can do to deal with that. But again, that type of person is, again, very vehement and resilient and persistent. And again, a persistent pest, you need to step up and take action against that pest. All right. So it's important to, keep in mind those types of people, and they will be some like that. But at the same time, you also realize that, if people are taking the time to spend on you and create an entire post against you, I mean, you're probably doing a lot of good stuff and, and saying things that are maybe, rubbing people the wrong way for whatever reason. But, it's everyone gets a troll. I mean, I don't think I have a brand of being more of a teddy bear, heart-focused type person, full of empathy, but I still have people that troll and hate me, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't matter how nice you are, you're still going to get people that are going to troll on you. So, it's just a normal passage of social media engagement. And you have to understand that as you're going to be on this platform. So, yeah, so this is a very, it's a topic I've done lots of videos on. I'm very passionate about it. I typically go online to defend a lot of people, particularly on Twitter and LinkedIn, particularly women when they are dealing with a lot of misogynistic comments from men. I think that's a big, huge problem. So it's something we have to deal with. Other people are dealing with more things around mental health or their weight. There's other ones, people of color, are dealing with a lot of stuff as well, LGBTQ. You see it all the time. And so, you have to look at your own values and say, well, what kind of person am I? Am I the type of person that wants to just ignore it, or do I want to defend people? So I typically, if I see it, and I will try to defend people as best I can. I think it's really important to do that. It's one of my major values. I'm a big believer in diversity and equality and fairness. And so I am very big on, and that's why I typically tend to respond more with trolls than other people do, and that's fine. It's how I choose to spend my time. I mean, and remember, I'm not wasting all my time on it. Like, oftentimes I'm on a streetcar and I'm like or somewhere waiting the dark talk. It's not usually during my workday. Like now, like I'm not gonna deal with trolls. Like that guy, he did it. I wasn't gonna deal with it, and that's fine. So. Yeah, exactly, David. Some of my women friends get some really, really bad comments. And so, again, that's even more important for us, particularly men. if you're an ally, it's more important for you to stand up and really be an ally. So, if you're not a person of color, then speak up for people of color. If you're not an LGBTQ, speak up for people LGBTQ. If you're not a woman, speak up for women. And it's important for us to be supportive like that. And I think that's really important. I appreciate when I get attacked for my person of color, my race, whatever, and people step up. I think it's really, really great, and I really appreciate that. I think it's so important. And this is not, people say, well, that's political. Well, it's personal. It's everything. I mean, people tend to just be that way, and they attack people, and you have to be someone that's willing to stand up for people. I mean, isn't that a brand you can get behind? I'm a person who stands up for people. I'm a person who stands up and supports people. I'm a person who defends people's brands and ability to speak and their talent and their value and their beauty and all that kind of stuff. And that's the type of person I want to be. Isn't that somebody that you want to be? If you are, give me a hell yeah, because that's exactly the type of people we should be. And I think today I'm getting all fired up because it's a very passionate topic for me, and that's why I wanted to. I've already spent 25 minutes. Normally I do 10, 15, 20 minutes of my LinkedIn Live. So hope you've enjoyed this discussion. Again, I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. Tomorrow I'm interviewing Michelle Falcon, and I'll be interviewing more people. If you like this post, you like these feeds and the discussion, comment below about your dealing with the trolls. What are some myths you've heard? What are some questions you have? Comment below and tag people who want to be part of this. Let them know they'll be here every day tomorrow. Share some topics you want. Tag people you think who should be part of this program or I should interview. And share it on your post and let people know, here's what we're trying to share and talk about trolls. So I hope you enjoyed this one. And hell yeah, thank you, Lori. That's great. All right. So I've had fun with this today, and I wish you guys all the best. And thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow for the Power of Connection broadcast. Take care. Talk soon.